What up? Welcome to the official DoD Podcast.
The Guardian Radio Network presents the official Dads of Destiny podcast. The only place where dads can be 100% correct, 100% of the time. Don't tell your mother.
What's up? Your host, Too Loud here for the first ever DoD podcast and what community is referring to as the DoD Cast. I would like to introduce two other hosts that will be with me weekly to bring you some great laughter at our expense, I'm sure. First up, I have the one and only Slayer himself, Nolxero. What's up, buddy?
Not much. How's it going, bub?
Man, doing well. Ready for the release of Destiny, obviously. Here we are, less than, 24, 48 hours away here. We're really close. And last but not least, the guy that sends daily love letters to Major Nelson and Phil Spencer about how much he loves his Xbox One, Mr. Migs. What's up, Migs?
Hey guys, happy to be here. I like how I haven't even said a word yet, and you're already making an Xbox joke.
Absolutely, man.
That's great.
We got to. We can't just not acknowledge that we're both PS4 players and you're an Xbox player, of course.
Yep, I'm already outnumbered.
Well,
he's basically saying we have to acknowledge the weaker system.
Oh man.
Well, that is a discussion we could definitely continue in another one of our segments. But let's move on. I don't want to get caught up here right now. But so you guys may have heard in the intro, which I hope you guys enjoyed. Dads of Destiny is partnering with Guardian Radio Network to bring you guys tons of great content, from videos to podcasts to exclusive interviews, etc. For months, we have heard the request from you guys over there at the DoD forums that you wanted a DoD podcast, and we have taken a lot of suggestions, and we want to say thank you so much to this wonderful community that we are a part of and all the support we have received. Without you guys, this podcast and partnership would not be possible, so thank you so much. Now with that out of the way, let's get the party started the right way. And as Migs loves to call this section, we're going to call this Bottles Up.
Bottles up, Guardians.
Please drink responsibly. Silly kids, drinking is for adults only. Don't drink and ride your Sparrow. Drinking has been known to increase your aim. Individual crucible results may vary. If you have a buzz lasting longer than 4 hours, contact the speaker immediately. No lawyers were harmed in the making of this disclaimer.
For the Bottles Up section here, what are you drinking?
I'm drinking a Spotted Cow from New Glarus Brewing Company, which is a microbrew in my home state of Wisconsin. It's an excellent beer. I don't know if they sell them outside of Wisconsin, but it's one of my favorites.
Well, I am partaking in the Blue Moon Summer Honey Wheat, so I'm enjoying that myself. And David, what are you drinking over there today?
I have this fine brew in front of me today. It's a MTN Dew. It's brought to you by the fine bottling company of PepsiCo. Very delicious.
PepsiCo, that's interesting.
I think you can.
PepsiCo Brewing, is that?
Yeah. Some kind of, I would say some kind of brewing.
Well, I bet we can find that nationwide too. That's a pretty popular one, I think.
I think so. I think it's being received very well by the community.
Well, so guys, just to let you know, this section is basically just a section that we're gonna be able to tell you a little bit about ourselves, who we are, and what we're gonna do, and how many kids we have today. We're just gonna use this section to kind of introduce ourselves to you guys. So first off, I'm gonna let Migs go and introduce himself and what he's all about and where he's been and what he's been doing and how he's got part of the podcast here.
Sure. So, I've been a software developer for almost 10 years. Been married to my wonderful wife for 5 years. And this June, we became parents when we had our daughter. So I've had about 3 months of on-the-job training as a dad. I love being a father. I was telling my wife the other day that I can no longer make it through the day without seeing my daughter smile. And, once she started smiling, she totally had me wrapped around her finger. So it's been great being a dad. Even though I'm really big into gaming, I wouldn't call myself a hardcore gamer. But the games that I do play, I go all in on. I consume them. I obsess over them. I've played all of the Halo games, starting with Combat Evolved. I remember playing. You could actually hook it up on GameSpy with a little work and play that online. I remember taking over a bunch of Xboxes and TVs and playing at friends' houses. And I've played pretty much everything up to Reach. Played a little Halo 4. I was also really big into Diablo 2. That was way back in high school. And before my daughter was born, I was very active Diablo 3 player on PC as well. And I'll also admit I'm a huge Bungie fanboy. After Halo Reach, they announced they were really working on another game, and I was already hooked at that point. So I am super excited for Destiny, and I can't believe it's almost here.
Well, I think we all are. I think we're all excited about it, and obviously that's why we're here. And in reference to your excitement about your daughter, I know that as I mentioned, I have 2 sons, and I have a 2-year-old and a 4-month-old, and that desire to get home and see your kids only gets crazier, especially when they start looking at you, man, and they notice who you are, and they tell they say daddy to you and everything else. I mean, it gets even crazier. So that just get ready, because that only tends to grow, man. That desire to get home only tends to grow. So
wait till they're 9 and 10.
So. Nice. Yeah, I can't wait. It's been great. I'm excited.
Nolxero, let me know, man. Tell us a little bit about what you do, who you are, and your kids and everything else.
All right. So, yeah, my name is Nolxero. I started gaming long time ago when I was like 5. Played everything. I've been obsessed with video games since my uncle showed me Super Mario Brothers. I couldn't understand how he possibly controlled something that was on the TV screen, and I was just blown away from there. I constantly just kept, getting that hunger for gaming and just kept going and building it, and, played all the Diablo and the Halos. A little bit about my personal life is, I have 3 children. I have a 10-year-old boy, another boy that's about to be 10 years old, and we can explain how that all happened on another show. And I have a daughter that is 9 years old. And so I agree with y'all on the will to get home and see your kids. It's really cool when you can, sit down and play a game and like your kids get it. Because, when they were younger, I would sit down and we'd try to get them into like Mario and stuff. And because I wanted to share my passion with them and really get them into what I was into. And so early on, when they don't get it and when they're still developing those motor skills and the hand-eye coordination, it's more of a frustrating romp, because you're like, oh, I really want them to get it, but they're just getting frustrated because they can't do it yet. So it's really exciting once they start growing up and you can really share your passion with your kids, and you sit down and you play a game and they get it and they get excited, and it's just cool to see, like, I'm excited for Destiny, and to see my kids get excited like I remember getting excited for a video game when I was their age, it's a really awesome experience that I'm now, living in now that they're old enough to, kind of get that and be, into that.
Absolutely.
That's
Yeah,
cool.
I'm looking forward to that time as well. I mean, I know, like I said, my 2-year-old, he likes to sit in my lap and watch the game, and obviously sometimes he'll fall asleep in my arms while I'm playing, which is fun. But I can't wait to get to that time where he's like, Dad, let's go play, and he tries to take me, which, will be a long time till he can, obviously. But
Right.
I'll hold that probably as long as I can. But one day I'm sure he will turn around, and when I get old and I don't have my quick reflexes anymore, I will get handed to. So
Right.
sooner your time though, Nolxero, it looks like your time's gonna be here sooner than mine of getting handed to by your kids. So. But a little bit about myself, guys. Obviously, Too Loud is what I go by on the I guess on the intranet and on PSN. I live here in the great state of Texas, actually just north of where Nolxero is located. I work as an operation officer for a commercial loudspeaker manufacturer. I've been married to my amazingly hot wife for about 7 years. And we have two, like I mentioned, two beautiful boys, a 2-year-old and a 4-month-old. I've played games my whole life. I got addicted with Halo Evolved. My gaming life changed at that point. Ever since, I've really been into competitive multiplayer experiences. I've been a writer for some smaller gaming websites and worked for a company called Xfuel for a while, sponsoring and promoting MLG teams. So that's a little bit about myself and about us. But enough about that. Let's talk about what we're all here for and what we all want to talk about, which is Destiny.
I'll drink to that.
Absolutely. As you guys are probably well aware, here we are a few days away from the release, and Deej gives us the last weekly update, and we put it. He also put out an invitation for fans to come and visit their studio. First 300, he said, will get in, and the first 1,000 won't leave empty-handed. So if you're somewhere near Bungie Studio, I would highly suggest you run over there Monday if you can. I know if I was anywhere remotely in that area, man, I would be taking off work like, man, I'm really sick, because I would find a way to get in there. I don't know about you guys.
If I were 12 hours away, I would still. I mean, just 12 hours, I would want to drive out there. A little farther than that, but yeah, that is awesome that they're doing that for the community. Really cool of them.
Are you kidding? I'm headed to Bungie right now. It's going to be a long drive, and hopefully I can get there before the first 300, which I'm sure the first 300 are sitting outside the Bungie offices right now.
Well, if that's the case, you should have got started yesterday, bro. I don't know if you can make it. I don't know if you can make
Unfortunately,
it there.
I missed the call when Deej was calling me and trying to let me know that this was happening, giving me the heads up. So
he didn't save you a spot?
Yeah, I guess not.
Well, along with that update, he also showed off the beta emblem that we all got for being part of the beta. I guess it was being on it. It's like 5:00 Central Time or something like that. I don't remember exactly what time it was, but I know they tried to get everybody on that beta at one time, and so he ended up showing, I guess, our award for doing that. What'd you guys think about that?
I thought it was cool. I like the emblem. I think they're going to be doing a lot of emblem-related stuff, which I'm okay with. The only thing, I guess my only complaint with the beta emblem is there's going to be over 4 million people with it, and most of them are going to be wearing it to start off. So that's going to kind of take away from the coolness factor. But overall, I thought I liked the emblem.
Yeah, I just don't know if I'll rock it. I mean, for me, I'm always looking for the emblem that's a little different.
Right.
That's gonna, I guess, make me apart from everybody else. I don't want to be in the lobby and have the same emblem that everybody else has. I know in the beta, whenever we had the Iron Banner and we could get that Iron Banner emblem,
everybody rocked that very
everybody
fast.
rocked it, man. And I didn't want to rock that banner. I was like, whatever. I'll go find a cool exclusive one over at the the lady that sold the emblems over there. So I in the tower. So I don't know if I'll rock it. I mean, I guess it's cool. It's cool. It's there. It's the same way with all the exclusives for me.
I kind of wish it said beta on it somewhere. Personally, I just wish, because as the game grows, and 5 years from now, it'd be cool to put an emblem on that says beta. Like I was in the so you put that on, and 5 years from now, when it's a 40 million person community, someone would be like, oh, dude, that guy's been here since beta. Wow, that's amazing.
Right.
So
right.
I kind of wish it said beta more than it has, that it's just some emblem that came from the beta. I mean, and I think that's kind of goes to what you were saying, TwoLoud, is that, it's okay. I mean, it's an okay emblem. I don't know that I'll rock it either. But I kind of feel like it's not super cool. So I don't think it's like one that you could put on 5 years from now.
I think, for me, if you look back at the gaming history and you look back at something that really sticks by, a lot of times these things that are, exclusives or promo things, for whether you pre-order or whether you get it, by being part of a beta. The only thing that I can ever look back and go, man, I remember having that, and when I saw it in a game later on, I knew those people were just like me, was in Gears of War with the gold guns. In Gears of War, when you got the gold guns, the only way to get it was the pre-order, I believe, at GameStop early on. And if you got the Legendary Edition, you got like the Hammer Burst, and then just for pre-ordering, you got the chainsaw gun. So that pre-order and that exclusive, I think they called it the Legendary Edition or whatever, was the only thing that I've ever looked back and gone, years later when I went back and played that game and I saw somebody with a gold gun, I knew, hey man, that guy was there with me when I was there, and it's the only thing that tied them to that time. So, that's the kind of things that I look for. Like I said, it looks cool. And I agree with you. I think it would be awesome if it said beta on it, just so, in say 5 years when I'm going through my emblems and I want to change it, I can go, man, I'm going to rock this beta one so all the people that weren't in the beta could see it.
I hate to say it, but like Destiny 2 comes out and all these people, that start then, you could pop that on and someone's like, wow, that's really awesome. And that's only from beta. That's, and I agree with you on the golden guns, when, as Gears 2 went on, later on, people were like, that came new to Gears 2 were like, how did you get those golden guns? And, it was like, it's just limited and it was special. So. Absolutely.
Well, the exclusive emblems, they're like I said, they're cool and they're awesome. I also have the same feeling, I guess, about like I'm grabbing the Ghost Edition of Destiny. So, in relation, beyond just the emblem that we saw there, I know a lot of people are going to have, the Sparrow that we're getting and the emblems that we're getting. So, I will probably obviously use the Sparrow until I get a better one on in the game. But the emblems themselves, I think there'll probably end up being so many emblems that you won't have a problem finding something different to make yourself, appear different in each lobby. So. But moving on from that, Deej also told us in that update last week that the reviews would not take place until after the game is released, because they built Destiny around the large multiplayer experience. So basically, he was saying you guys won't get the full experience of the game unless it's populated by thousands of people, and the only way to do that is to wait for the release. So he said that everybody is all the reviewers are asked to wait till after the release. I don't know if that's 2 days, 1 day, a week. I don't know how long they're doing that, but he also did mention, he said that they know that some people might wait to pick up their copy of Destiny because they're waiting for those review scores. I mean, do you guys think that the people that are even going to buy this thing? I mean, I guess my argument would be in the first week. Are even concerned about the reviews at this point, or are people are just going to go get it? I mean, for instance, there's how many pre-orders? This is the largest pre-order ever in GameStop history. Right. So I don't know if this is going to really affect it, and maybe but does it hurt Destiny at all?
No, I don't think it's going to hurt Destiny at all. I mean, at this point, the game's been so heavily marketed, so hyped. And when the reviews do come, I mean, from what we've seen, from what we play in the beta, the reviews are going to be excellent. So even if someone's waiting for a review, I can't imagine any bad reviews. I mean, everything up until this point, Destiny related, has been reviewed really well. I mean, there's been a few complaints here and there, minor complaints, but overall, everyone's really liked the game. The only thing I could see hurting is if they have a launch issue with the servers, that's just going to delay the reviews even more, and then that's going to make it into all the reviews too. So that could be the only thing I think that might actually hurt it. But launch issues, they're just that. They're issues during the launch. Once that's all hammered out, I mean, the game's going to be out for a long, long time. People are going to be playing it for a long time.
10 years,
Yeah. Yep. So, exactly.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's a 10-year plan. I mean, that's what we've been told this whole point. And I heard a discussion I was having with some people that are Destiny fans over where I work, and they were talking about they had read somewhere that it was already up to like $600 million in estimated profits the first day based on the pre-orders. So Activision put in what, $500 million was their contract with them. So obviously, I don't know how that money's distributed out and given into them all at one time, or obviously not. That includes the marketing as well. That they're spending to do this game. But if those numbers are even remotely close, I mean, think about it. They're making their money back almost immediately. So, I can't imagine that it's really going to affect Destiny at all. I mean, I know everybody's talk is, will it sell more than Call of Duty? Will it sell more than Halo, Master Series? And will it do this and that? And I just feel like, this is the first time that Bungie has ever released a game on a PlayStation platform, and I know that the PlayStation people, man, are just, I mean, they're drooling at the mouth, and well deserved, because I think all of us, we were all Halo players, and so we know what Bungie brings to the table, and the addiction that they give us, and the story that they provide to us, and what we have. So I just think that at that point, everybody's just diving into this game. Everybody just wants some Destiny, and they want some Bungie, on their platform. And I can imagine that the reviews being held are really going to affect that many people that are going to affect the sales at all.
Yeah, I kind of take a little bit different opinion on that. I think it could affect their sales, because I think a big issue that I've seen with the forums and just different parts of the community is the fact that, some people are concerned with the overall size of Destiny. Some people are concerned with in-game content. And I think the reviews, essentially, that's kind of what those reviews were going to serve as, is kind of reassurance, like, hey, there's in-game content. There's plenty of stuff for you to do here. Do I think it's going to affect the sales? For the most part, there's a lot of people that want this game. They played the beta, they played the alpha if they had a PS4, and they're excited. They're frothing at the mouth, and they're ready to jump in immediately.
Well,
and,
I mean, yeah, absolutely. But I guess my question to you is the people that are waiting for that review. Do they have a misconception? Have they created these misconceptions in their minds that, Destiny is this big, it's WoW big, World of Warcraft big, or I mean, because Bungie's never really told them how big the game is. I think everybody's kind of presumed, oh, well, we want to hold Bungie to this standard. We want to hold, everything to this standard of how big it has to be. And that's never, that shouldn't be a fact. I mean, we don't call, we don't hold the Activision or Infinity Ward or Treyarch, any of those people to a standard when we get a Call of Duty game. We just let's just get a multiplayer game,
Call
right?
of Duty.
Right. We don't hold Call of Duty to any standards, obviously. But I think,
but you know what I'm saying? I mean, at the end of the day, the size of Destiny, everybody keeps going back to the size, but they've never told us a size. It's like people want this WoW size. You know what I mean? This World of Warcraft size.
They made a misstep when they did the beta. I think Bungie made a misstep in the communication with the community by saying that was roughly 25% of the game. And I don't think they meant size-wise. I don't think they meant like literal size of the game. I think they meant like you got 25% of the experience. Like you got a little bit of the Crucible, you played the Iron Banner, but I kind of think that message came across weird. And then when Deej came out and said that there was, basically old Russia was the entire Earth map for now, people really started to freak out. And long term, does the size of Destiny 1 matter? No. Does it in the short term? Well, yeah, because the first DLC comes out, December, and that's 3 months from now. And 3 months, so basically this disc needs to contain enough content to get you through to December, and I think it'll do that. I think just based off of Bungie's impressive resume with the Halo series multiplayer, I think they have more than enough there for you to get in, have fun with the multiplayer, plus this incredible world. I think there's a lot to do, and I think you'll definitely be there till November or December, ready for the content that's coming out then. So yeah, I mean, I think it's a short-term concern, and it's a long-term, but when you say WoW and World of Warcraft, when they came out, it was incredibly difficult to level up. It was,
you played vanilla.
Yeah, it was no in-game content other than a couple of raids. And look at it now. I mean, there's a million things for you to do in WoW. There's a million factions to go earn reputation with. There's so much loot in the game. I mean, you can literally log on to WoW and do anything you want for hours.
There are millions of people playing WoW. And how long has the game been out? Like over 10 years, right? And there's still millions of people playing the game.
Yeah, so. Like last time I looked at the numbers, they're still at 6 or 8 million.
Well, they talk a little bit about. He talks a little bit about some questions that were answered by Luke Smith and Tyson Green as well. In the update, Deej does. for me, WoW was a fun experience, and obviously I came to the party real late on that. But the most important thing to me that I noticed while playing WoW was how often they updated and released information, and that was and that was my biggest question for Destiny at the very beginning is, how often are they really going to update this game and service the game and service the servers? We've played, me and Nolxero have played League of Legends for the past 3 years, and every week we get an update, and every 2 or 3 weeks at the very beginning of League, every 2 weeks you got a new character. So that was my bigger question going into it, was how often are they going to update it so that those challenges, I think one thing that people are failing to notice is the weekly challenges, and they get
daily, not even weekly, daily challenges too.
Yeah, the daily challenge. And in fact, they even mention in this update, they mention heroic weekly challenges. So, it gets really, really, really crazy. But
that's the great thing about living in a post World of Warcraft world. Bungie was able to learn. They said that they learned a lot from WoW, and it shows. They don't need to discover what dailies can do for their game, what weekly challenges can do for their game, because we all know, we've seen what WoW's done with it, and we've seen how successful that is.
Well, in fact, Luke Smith from that answered these questions with Tyson Green. From my understanding, Luke also did a lot of in-game content. He was a player, and he did a lot of in-game content for World of Warcraft.
Yep.
And so one of the things that they didn't really talk a lot about raids, man. They didn't really talk about. He didn't in this update. He didn't talk about raids and strikes. He was more focused on the looting and gearing up and going back and replaying those sections. And more of a grind. Like what you were mentioning, Nolxero, like in the vanilla stage of World of Warcraft, or even for Diablo 2. Migs, you played some Diablo 2 as well. So you guys know a little bit more about that grind system.
Yeah, I don't think it's for Destiny. I don't think you're really going to have a grind. Diablo's a point and click game. Diablo becomes a grind because basically all you're doing in the game is pointing, clicking, trying to update your character. Destiny's an action game, so even if you take the loot out of the game, the game should still be fun to play and to play over and over again. Plus, there's a ton of variety in the game. We've got the 6 PvP modes that they told us about. There's going to be strikes. The raid is going to be a huge challenge that people are going to look forward to tackling. You can explore. They've said that they're going to be putting mysteries and stuff into the game. And then, like we talked about, there's going to be stuff to do daily, new stuff to do weekly, that they're going to challenge you on. And then you still got Iron Banner. They've said there's going to be other things like the Iron Banner event out there. We don't know what those are going to be yet, but Iron Banner gives you something to shoot for and something to do. I mean, it's not going to be there all the time, but when it's there, everyone's going to be like, we got to go hit up the Iron Banner. So,
right.
I don't think it's a fair comparison, to grind for loot. I'm sure that you're going to want to look for the best loot. You're going to want to look for specific pieces of armor or for weapons, but I don't think it's going to be a grind. I think it's all going to be fun.
Well, I guess last point on his update. I mean, there's a lot. He gave us a lot of information, which was really awesome. If you haven't read that, go to Bungie.net and read the weekly update that Deej posted. But I said he didn't talk much about raids or strikes, and the reality is they had a question that they answered, which was about the Vault of Glass. Right, the only raid that we know about at this point. The one that supposedly some people tried for like 17 hours to even unlock it, and they couldn't unlock it, and some teams quit supposedly, and some teams tried to keep going, but nobody got through it. Right, and I kept thinking, okay, well, once I get to the end game, if because that there's going to be people that all they're doing is pushing to get to that end game the first 2 days, right? I mean, and so if you get there, it's not necessarily you're going to be able to get in the Vault of Glass, right? We didn't know. Well, they answered the question here, and they said, when should I expect to give the Vault of Glass a run? Well, they answer back that the Vault of Glass doesn't even open or begin till September 16th. And that's assuming that you've achieved level 25. Right. So, I mean, it's not, you can't, so if people finish this game, I mean, and we know it's going to happen, right? People are going to get to level 20 or whether they even get to level 30 by the end of next week when it comes out. They're not even going to have the raid to go to yet. So,
and I'm very happy that Bungie made that decision because they basically leveled the playing field for someone that doesn't want to just consume the content as quickly as possible. So if I want to go a little bit slower, I can do that, and I could still conceivably be world's first if I cared about that in the Vault of Glass and beating the Vault of Glass, which is awesome. I think that's a great move.
Well, last week on Guardian Radio, Turks, he even says, "Hey guys, slow down, enjoy this." They've been doing their podcast for over a year. Doing the updates and everything else, and it's like, hey, don't jump on this game that we've been waiting on for, literally been waiting on since Halo Reach, right? I mean,
well, you do that, you jump in, you consume the content, then you're going to be the guy in October that's complaining that Destiny didn't have enough content. You're going to be like, oh, Destiny didn't have enough. Well, no, you just consumed it too quickly and you burnt yourself out, way too fast.
Yep.
I really believe that there's going to be plenty of content. I mean, I heard it the other day. Someone on this podcast I was listening to, they said that Diablo 3 has a terrible story, and the first initial game was terrible as well. But yet, tons of people play that just for the simple fact of getting awesome loot. So if a ton of people play Diablo 3 just to get awesome loot, even though the story and everything else was terrible up until recently, I think Destiny's in a good place because it seems like it's going to have a pretty awesome story. It's going to have awesome loot. It's going to have awesome multiplayer. So it's got a lot going for it.
There's been Call of Duties I've been disappointed with, right, when they come out. I mean, I loved Modern Warfare. I loved World at War. But, there's, the one that comes to mind immediately is, Modern Warfare 3. Everybody just liked that game. It wasn't fun, and there's a lot of problems with it. But I think you can look back at the Halo series, and I mean, can you guys ever think of a Halo where you put it in and you go, man, this is not what I wanted. I mean, this is not the Halo that Bungie makes for me. I mean, I never, ever thought that. I mean, no. Reach was different, right, with the different power-ups and stuff, but which you look back at it now and you go, okay, they were already thinking about Destiny then.
Big time.
And but I've never had a Bungie product that I've ever been dissatisfied with. And that did not live up to the hype that they made it. So I'm
gonna get a little flame for this, but when I got Halo 2, I wasn't a big fan of playing as the Arbiter.
Yeah, you're not allowed to talk anymore. Yeah, you're not allowed to talk anymore.
All right, we'll continue on now.
Right. That was the only thing. That was the only thing I ever played where I was like, I want to play as Master Chief. It's the second game, and I'm already playing as the Arbiter. I love Halo 2.
But for that time, man, that was such a different thought, though, outside the box. I mean, for that timing of especially console gameplay and being able to play the two narrative sides. I mean, dude, you've seen it in a lot of games after that, right, where you can play two sides of a game, or you're playing the co-op player or the second player of that game from another point of perspective. But that's the first time you can really think of it in a big blockbuster title version where you're like, holy cow, man. And that's, I think for me, that's why I enjoyed that, is because it was so different at the time. It might not have been the best gameplay per se, but it was different, and it was something new for them to be able to provide.
Yeah. Well, I can just say I played Halo 3 8 hours a day, just the multiplayer. When I was playing Halo 3, I used to play 8 hours a day, almost daily. And, I worked from home back then, and so I had a lot of extra time whenever I wasn't working. And if I can put that much time into just the multiplayer of Halo 3, I'm not worried about Destiny at all as far as content.
Right.
Absolutely.
So this section we're going to call Don't Talk Back. And this section is where I will provide a controversial gaming topic to Mr. Migs and Nolxero, and they will give their opinions on it. Each week, we are going to ask you guys to vote on whose opinion you agree with more, and maybe where you line up on which side of the fence. And there may be times where they actually agree, which will be seldom, I can guarantee you. But in that case, we want to hear from you guys. We want to hear your opinion. We want to hear maybe what your rebuttal would be. So let's get started with the first ever Dads of Destiny, don't talk back.
I wanted to be your dad. What does that even mean? Don't you talk back to me, young man.
Today, the question is that I have for you that has been discussed many, many times over many, many podcasts and many, many websites and many, many forum posts is I am curious to know what y'all's opinion is on the PS4 exclusive content that is coming for Destiny and that is it said to be exclusive for 1 year from what we hear. Do you guys think it matters a lot? Do you think it's going to make people buy a PlayStation 4? Or do you think it's just not much at all because of the content that is there? I know Bife always says, there's so much content that's going to be in Destiny that it doesn't matter. So shoot at it and let me know y'all's opinions.
No, I don't think it matters. I mean, is it cool? Sure. But in the general scheme of the game, does it matter? No. If we talk about the content, you get one multiplayer map. There's over 10 in the game. And there's going to be more in the expansion passes, I'm sure. So that's not going to make or break any PvP stuff. Plus, it's one map, and I highly doubt Bungie made their best maps part of anything exclusive. So we're still going to get the absolute best maps on Xbox, on PlayStation, whatever. There's a strike on Mars. And we got to see the gameplay of that like last week or 2 weeks ago, and I thought that was really cool. But I think it was cool because there was new footage of the game, the Cabal, all that. There's going to be a ton of other strikes out there. There's going to be a lot to keep us busy. We were talking about all the end game stuff. So again, one strike, I'm not worried about it. And then there's weapons, there's armors, there's ships. Well, first off, ships don't do anything at all. They look cool. That's it. The weapons and the armor, there's so many weapons and so much armor in Destiny that, again, it's just going to get lost because there's so much to do, so much out there that it's really, once the game's out, you're playing the game, you're not going to be thinking about, oh, well, I don't have this one map or I don't have this one gun. You're just going to be having a good time.
Oh, no, you're going to be having nightmares about it, dude. Nightmares.
Yeah.
Nightmares.
Sweats.
I agree that the armor and the guns, ships, none of that matters. Especially the armor and weapons, you should outlevel that. If they're giving you anything, I mean, it's kind of like Borderlands 2. They brought out the gold keys with Borderlands 2, I think it was, and you could unlock some chest early on in the game and get some good starting loot. But there's no way they're giving you the best stuff in the, at the beginning. So that doesn't matter. But I kind of think that multiplayer and Strike does, and I think it's really crazy that PlayStation's looking at it for a year before Xbox can even think about it. I think that's pretty crazy. I kind of think it matters only because I know it's just one more Strike. I know it's just one more multiplayer map, but that's one more thing in rotation that keeps things fresh. It's one more thing in rotation that keeps you from saying, "Oh, not this map again," or "I wish there was one more Strike I could do." I mean, I don't think it's like a deal breaker. I don't say, "Oh man, I'm missing out on one Strike. I get a PS4 now."
Well, for me and you, it obviously got us to buy a PlayStation 4, Nolxero. I mean, that's what we did. We bought PlayStation 4s based on the 2013 E3 and the relationship we saw. And we knew, hey, look, we don't know a lot about all the games that are coming out, but we do know that we love Bungie, and we do know that Destiny is going to be the type of game that we want to play, right? So, I definitely do think it is changing, I guess, some people's perspective, but there are also a lot, and I mean a lot, of Xbox loyal fans out there, and there are a ton that they waited by the wayside no matter what the problems were or the miscommunication that Microsoft gave out in 2013. They said, hey, no matter what, I want my Xbox because I love my controller, which is another debate. But that is that is the fact.
I'll just close it off. I'll agree with what you were saying, Nolxero. PlayStation did one hell of a job. It is really cool that you guys have those exclusives. But like I said, I'm not losing any sleep over it.
Well, speak of sleep time, I would love to introduce a new segment to you guys as well called Story Time with Uncle Migs.
And now we present Story Time with Uncle Migs, the part of the show where Uncle Migs reads us a story.
All right, so I guess I'm Uncle Migs. So gather around, everyone. story time. So if you've been on the Dads of Destiny forums, you've seen all the funny and the heartwarming stories that have been posted that all dads can relate to. We wanted to tap into that for this story time segment and let you guys share your best experiences of being a dad. So for the first few weeks, while we're all binge gaming on Destiny, I'm just going to pull up some existing posts off the DoD forums and read through those. But eventually, we want to reach out each week with a new topic and let you guys share your stories every week. So going through the forums, man, there's so many great stories. It was really tough picking through them. We could probably do a whole show dedicated just to reading your stories. But the one I picked for this week is worst diaper changing stories. It was created, the thread which was originally created by X Mullet Burden X. And here's his story. So my son was about 5 months old, and my wife was feeling a bit under the weather. My son was just fed, and I was changing a pretty big poop diaper, and we were all in bed. We co-sleep. And as I was pulling the poop diaper away, he decided it was a good time to poo again. Since my wife was sick, he was a little bit as well. And let me tell you, it was a fountain of baby diarrhea into my lap. I was able to catch most of it on my legs. Thankfully, there wasn't any blanket underneath me.
Wow, man.
He'd rather the poop be on his legs than on a blanket.
I can relate to that. You don't want to put that in the laundry.
Are you kidding me? I will catch with a blanket any day.
Man, I it's funny because you tell that story, and I didn't even know what story you were going to read, but I have a very similar story to that. But instead of it on my bed, it actually projected to the co-sleeper that goes next to the bed. And I'm here in the middle of the night, and my wife is like, "Wake up!" And I got to take this thing apart, and I got to clean it. And dude, I feel for you, buddy, because I understand the horror of diarrhea. So, that is never a fun situation to be in. And David, you're lucky because you don't have to deal with that anymore.
Yeah, not anymore. There was one time my middle son, he had a diaper. It was the same kind of situation. Babies get sick, they have terrible diarrhea. And I remember I was holding him, and we were walking through a store, and it was like everything happened and the smell just hadn't traveled to my nose yet. And so I was like, man, he is really wet all of a sudden. What is going on? And so I went into the bathroom to change him and take off his little onesie, and it literally looked like a C4 explosion had happened in his diaper because the diarrhea had shot upward all over his back into his neck.
Oh, wow.
Oh, it was, it's just a dreadful thing to happen.
Yeah, I've been fortunate. My daughter has not given me any stories that awful yet. I got 2 more stories I want to share from this original thread. So, worst diaper changing story. So this one's from Kilnor, and he says, so when my oldest daughter, who's now almost 7 years old, was a baby, she had a hard time going poop, so we had to give her suppositories to help her go. Well, my wife was asleep from being up with a 1.5-year-old baby almost all night. Baby was fussing. I got up to check on her, and I was so excited that she had finally taken a poop. Got her all cleaned up, and just as my wife wakes up to make sure everything's okay, she comes in to witness the mayhem. Before I even get the fresh diaper under her butt, an explosion of soft serve poop shoots out all over my pajama pants. I couldn't help but to share the laugh with my wife as it happened. And she just responded, did she just poop all over you, or am I dreaming?
I'll tell you, sleep deprivation can do a number of things, but no matter how tired you are, when you get diarrhea on, you will wake up.
Yeah. That'll wake you up. All right, and the last story I have is from Krusty Pants, 1964. It said, my daughter was about 18 months old and not feeling well. My wife was at work, and this was probably the first time I was at home alone with her when she was sick. She was having bouts of explosive diarrhea. She was walking along, and then all of a sudden this loud pooping noise came from her butt, and it was so loud and explosive that it made her sit down very hard. Needless to say, this caused the fresh liquid contents of her diaper to blow out of both sides of the leg holes in her diaper. It got all over the walls, the carpet, and the couch. And I thought I was going to die while I was cleaning that up. It didn't help that my wife wouldn't stop laughing at me when I told her the story. And then he says, "Scarred for life."
I have to ask: is that why his name is?
Yeah.
Is that why his name is Krusty Pants?
Krusty Pants.
I need to know. I need to know that.
I don't know. That didn't sound very crusty. It sounded pretty liquidy.
Oh man. For real.
He just forgot to clean it out of his pants.
Oh man. Well, guys, we appreciate your stories. We get on them all the time, and we laugh, and we talk to each other about it. I know some of the other players that I play with out of Dads of Destiny will get on and talk about the other posts that we see during the week, and keep on posting your stories, and make sure that if you want Mr. Uncle Migs over here to see it, that maybe you shoot him over a tweet or a PM on Bungie.net, and he'll do his best to look at your story and share it on here as well. So,
absolutely,
guys, we really, really appreciate you taking the time and listening to us. I want to give a shout out to the media team and the web design team and all the admins that have been helping expand DoD. And care for all of you out there that are members of Dads of Destiny. These guys are behind the scenes working nonstop for you. KP, Pope Bear, Stop Shooting Me, Deep Fried Dave, Guardian, Invited Cracker, Ninja One, Moggs, Nate, Subaru, and Crowns Nevermore. You guys are awesome. If you guys have not seen the post by KP and Crowns Nevermore for their different T-shirts that they've created, please go find them. They are awesome. Nate Serber has created our amazing Dads of Destiny logo. You guys are probably seeing it plastered everywhere now. But thank you so much for that, Nate. We really appreciate it. Such a great job there. And so lots of stuff to come, guys. We're going to be releasing a website soon. We have the Twitch channel and YouTube channel that are going to be up and running for the launch, and check them out. We're going to be trying to get as much information as we can on there. If you haven't seen the awesome, funny YouTube video that Moggs made, please go find that. It is at youtube.com/dadsofdestiny. And we're going to be looking for some of the top 5 plays a week that we're going to be putting on a video together and do the top 5 spankings of the week for you guys. So you can showcase how awesome you are in PvP and in the Crucible. And then also make sure you watch our Twitch stream at twitch.com/dadsofdestiny. You can find us there. We're going to be playing and broadcasting as much as we can for you guys and providing you content. You can follow me, TwoLoud, on Twitter at TwoLoudtx, and also on Twitch TV at twitch.tv/TwoLoudtx, and Nolxero. Why don't you hand them out your information as well?
Yeah, you can get me on Twitter at Nolxero, and then also Twitch as well. It's just Twitch/Nolxero, Nolxero. And YouTube will be coming, but I don't have that completely ready to go yet.
Absolutely, and we look forward to that. And Migs, why don't you hand out your information as well?
Sure. So I won't be subjecting anyone to my poor gameplay on Twitch, but I will try to pop into your streams and make fun of you guys as much as I can. I don't have a Twitter account, I don't have a Twitter account. If there's a need to, I could definitely open one up, but invite you guys to look me up on Xbox One. I'll be playing, and definitely looking forward to playing with all you guys. My gamer tag is Migs, Migs. So looking forward to playing with you guys.
And don't forget, you can reach him also at feedback. If you need to reach him or reach out to either me or Nolxero, and we will definitely get a message to him if you just love his stories and you want to hear him just lull you to sleep at night with bedtime stories. Yeah, maybe we need to put like an audiobook together or something. But we really appreciate it, guys. Thanks so much. Make sure you guys also check out the GuardianRadioNetwork.com for tons of other great podcasts and videos. Bife's YouTube page is amazing. You can find him at My Name Is Bife on YouTube. And thanks for listening, guys. And until next time, see you later, alligator.
After a while, crocodile.
Adios, donkeys.